Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I make tutorials on various baked good and decorating techniques. For my second video, I'll be showing you all how to decorate succulent and plant-themed cupcakes. This is a unique design that is super easy and will impress all your friends and family. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. The first design we're going to be doing is a leafy green succulent cupcake. The colors I mixed were pink and magenta for that first pink color and teal, green, and black for that second color, both from Wilton. The tips I used was an 18 Attico star tip for the first one and a 104 petal tip from Wilton for the second one. So for our design, I am taking the 104 petal tip, and as you can see, I am creating little semicircles around the edge of the cupcake with the piping bag. To achieve that, I'm kind of turning the cupcake as I squeeze, and since I'm right-handed, I'm going in a clockwise motion, but noted if you were a left-handed person, you would probably want to go in a counterclockwise motion. That would feel more natural. So I'm doing that around the edge of the cupcake, and then I'm just going to keep filling in those layers until the entire cupcake is filled. Another important thing to note about this is you want your petal tip, you want the wider end of your tip to be facing downwards, because if the skinnier end is facing downwards, the petals won't really come out in the way you see it in this video. It would kind of come out a little wonky. So make sure that the fatter part of the tip is angled downwards. So once you're done filling in your cupcake, take your star tip and then just put a little bit of pressure in the middle and it will give you a nice little flower. And that's it. Our next design is the spiky multicolored succulent. So for this cupcake, I used the same two colors as last time, but I put them in the same bag so I can get two colors coming out at the same time. And the tip I use is a Wilton 352 tip. Alright, so for this design, I am taking the tip, and notice there's two prongs on the 352 tip, so you're going to want to make sure those prongs are vertical. And what you see me doing is creating little leaves on the outer edge of the cupcake, and to do that, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on that cupcake and then just pulling out. And you don't want to keep pressing on it when you pull, because then it's just going to fall off. But if you put a little bit of pressure, let go, and then pull, it's going to give it a little bit of a leaf shape. And that's the same technique you're going to use for the entire top half of the cupcake. You're just going to keep layering it on top of each other until you have your entire cupcake filled. And here you have your finished multicolor succulent. So our third design is going to be the cactus cupcake. So we're going to do things a little bit differently this time. We're going to need 3 different frosting colors. I'm using my leftover turquoise frosting, and then the frosting we'll use for decorating is a lighter green and that same pink we used for the other two. For the lighter green one, I'm using a Wilton 6B tip, and for the pink, I am using the Attico 18 star tip. And another thing we'll be using is ground up graham crackers and sugar, which will act as sand for our cupcakes. So what you're going to do is you're going to frost your cupcake with that leftover frosting that I showed you before, and you're going to dip it into that graham cracker sand like you see here. And I find that on the first dip, I usually don't get enough sand to cover up the frosting. So if that happens to you, you can always just sprinkle frosting on like you see here until you get the consistency that you want. So now that your cupcake is covered in sand, it's time to take your 6B piping tip and just squeeze until you get the desired shape you want and release, and you should get a nice looking barrel cactus shape. Don't worry if the top is a little messy, because you're going to take your star tip next and put a flower right on top, and that will cover up any imperfections on the top of the cactus, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Our last cupcake design is a green spiky cupcake. Now this is pretty simple. I'm only using one piping bag with that green food coloring, and I'm once again using that number 18 Attico tip. And for the movement, it's pretty simple. I just put a little bit of pressure and then pull. Don't put too much pressure on it or hold it for too long, or else the frosting will droop over the side of the cupcake. But it's a pretty simple motion, little bit of pressure, little squeeze, and then pull, and you should get a nice looking little spike. And that is the entire cupcake. So I'm going around the edge first, and then I'm going to go in and fill in the rest of the cupcake. And that's a finished look. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope this was an informative and helpful video for you. I'd love to know how it went for people, so let me know on Instagram at pw.bakes or in the comments. But in the meantime, stay tuned for your next tutorial, which should be coming sometime next week. Thank you. Bye.